Hey there, it's Aaron. What I'm going to do in this video is have some fun with ChatGPT and Adobe Firefly AI. I'm going to have ChatGPT come up with titles for some phony movies, some fantasy film titles, and then I'm going to ask it to create a longer descriptive prompt from that. And then we'll bring the prompt over into Adobe Firefly and see what AI can come up with about these scenes. So, I had already tried this and it worked well. So I need 10 titles for unmade fantasy films. And so it will come back and give these ideas: The Chronicles of Eldoria, The Lost Kingdom of Avaloria, The Quest for the Crystal Orb, The Enchanted Forest, The Blade of Destiny, The Shadow's Embrace, The Curse of the Ancient Dragon, The Kingdom of Everlight, The Legends of Mythos, and The Sacred Talisman. I'm really thinking that a cool image could be generated from any of those, but I'm going to say, write a 20-word summary of let's try The Blade of Destiny, number 5. So it should come back here pretty quickly. The Blade of Destiny. A young warrior embarks on a perilous journey to claim the legendary blade and fulfill his destiny. Sounds about right. I'm going to go ahead and copy that, and I will paste it right over here into Firefly with the quotation marks and all. I'm just going to snap it into none to render that. And actually, I'm going to generate it as portrait just so it's a little bit more for us to look at on the screen. And let's see what it comes up with here for The Blade of Destiny and a young warrior embarking on his perilous journey. So, on their perilous journey. Here we go. That is a fairly cool scene. If she didn't have, looks like 3 legs there, we would be able to fix that though. That's a cool image. I like that one. I'm going to download that image, and let's go over here and try changing the style to graphic and see if it is going to give us something that looks more like a graphic novel. I feel like that sort of a style might match the idea here. So here we go. Warriors embarking on their journey. That's a pretty cool image. So is that one. They're all quite dramatic, really. I like this set. I'm going to download this image. And let's try the same thing, but with some different themes, or rather different techniques. So let's try this, but we'll do it in with bold lines. And I also want to try on it pop art. So I'll hit generate, and let's see what these look like with bold lines and a pop art style on top of it. Wow, these are super cool. I love the colors. That is really neat. Also pretty cool. I like the orange down at the bottom. Nice for a female lead. And this guy, very powerful. I'm going to take this image, also download it, and just for fun, why don't we bring it here into Photoshop, and I'm just going to quickly change it to, what could we do here? Why don't we do 1080 by 1920 and see what we can do here. Maybe give him a full top of head. I'm also going to take the opportunity to crop the non-commercial use watermark out of the picture because I won't be using it commercially. I'm going to be probably not even saving the image. We'll see. So there I have my selection made. I'm going to invert the selection, so now I'm going to fill that area instead. Generative fill, hit generate, and we will see how it comes back. And Adobe Firefly Generative Fill here in Photoshop, it comes back with 3 different variations, similar to how the Firefly website will give you 4 variations each time. That did a pretty cool job. Let's see our other variations. Number 2, number 3. I seemed to have been more impressed by number 1, but we have this line here, which is a seam and really an artifact from, really, if I had taken my crop closer in and farther away from the shadow of things, I think that might have helped to avoid that line. Regardless, remove line, and that will take care of the problem. And then we're going to go back to Firefly and see if we can't get another awesome image. I guess the first stop is going to be over at ChatGPT to get the text prompt for us. So that's an awesome image, I think. Definitely very striking. There's a lot of energy. He's really powerful. Love it. So there you go. So I will save that for later. And I'm going to go back here to Firefly, and we'll close this. And we'll go back here to ChatGPT, and why don't we ask this time for, write a 20-word summary of, I'm not even going to look, number 8. Number 8 is the Kingdom of Everlight. Let's see what it comes up with for a description of the Kingdom of Everlight. Waiting ChatGPT, here it goes. Sometimes it's not as fast, depending on how busy the server is. The Kingdom of Everlight. A young princess must unite her divided realm to protect it from an impending darkness. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to clear this out here, clear the styles, and we'll just paste over that, quotes and all. So let's generate with the base set here to none and see what it comes up with for our Kingdom of Everlight. There's quite a bit of information for the AI to interpret there. So here we have our young princess, interpretation number 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, and 4 are all beautiful. That is very, very photorealistic. That is a beautiful image right here. I'm going to download this one. And since I was aiming for more of like that storybook feel, we'll try it again here with the graphic design and pop art style that worked well in the last one. So here is this interpretation, the one with the crown, now in sort of this glowing halo, which is really nice. I wish that she were more illuminated from the front. That's a really cool image. Love the hair action. Wish it was more symmetrical. That is really cool. Like it. And that's a really nice image as well. I think though, just for these purposes, let's say that we liked this princess, and I'm going to once again increase the size of the canvas for us, and we'll do 1080 by 1920 since we have lots of pixels available to us. And just like so, same deal as last time, except this time I want as much of her crown as possible, but I want to avoid the watermark, and I want to try to avoid some of those shadows in the background. We'll see whether or not this selection is going to work. I'll invert that. Generative fill. Let's zoom in and see how awesome. Generate. Let's zoom in and see the detail in this image. That is incredible for an AI generated image. Look at the fine lines, or the pores, the fine details, the lips. That is an incredible image. So let's see here. What have we got? We do have some seam action up top, so I'll have to we'll regenerate again or render that out. Number 2 gave a bit of a border all the way around. If you can see, when I just switch to the next, it becomes more visible. Let's see what we've got here. Nice. Different outfits altogether, different gowns. I'm going to stay with this, but I'm going to ask it to generate fill up here again and see whether or not we want to clean this up anymore. Now let's zoom in on this and see if the level of detail is the same as the rest of the image. I would say that considering that these are not intended to be the focal point, I think that it did a fantastic job here. So let's zoom out. Not too bad. That's better to me. And that fills up the top of the image. Do we have anything that's floating or anything like that? There's sort of an object up here we could get rid of. Let's just do that quickly. Make her perfect princess. Remove object. Just like so. So I think that we've got a pretty striking image here. It's one of the most photorealistic images that I have generated, and I'm finding that Adobe Firefly is really, it's superior to anything that I've tried so far when it comes to generating faces. So there you go. We have a second fantasy image created for us, really by ChatGPT is who came up with the idea. So there you go, ChatGPT. We've got another one down for you. Let's do that one more time, and we will say, let's do the quest for the crystal orb. So we will ask ChatGPT to write a 20-word summary of number 3. And we'll see what it comes up with. The quest for the crystal orb. A group of adventurers sets out on a dangerous quest to find a powerful artifact and save their land. Sounds great. More than one figure this time. So I'm going to clear this and paste this in and generate. We'll see how this comes back as the base just for fun. Might enjoy one of those photorealistic images again. So, what have we got? See, in my mind it was going to be a fantasy outer worldly sort of thing, but this is a different take than what I was expecting. It's a completely different interpretation than what I was expecting. That would be more in line, and yeah, I mean, that's just I wasn't thinking along these lines at all. So I think that's super cool. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to change it again to graphic, and I'm going to select pop art, and let's see if it comes back and stylizes things in the same way that it did last time. So here, a more stylized interpretation, yes, and we also have the orb that was described in our little story here. This almost looks like, yeah, they're inside the orb being watched from outside. So this would have been a different interpretation of that crystal perfect ball that was in the hand. This would have been like when the orb was up in the sky there. Unfortunately, I thought that would have been much better in this style, but it didn't seem to be that way. And this is another rendition of our prompt. Out of these, I would say probably number the first. And I do want to clear the styles again though. And in fact, I'm going to set it to photo. And I want to see whether or not we can generate one of those cool crystal balls again, because I've been trying to generate one in other platforms. So here we go. The photorealism aspect, I don't think so, because it's not featuring the faces well enough, and the compositions are just very, very strange. So I'm going to call that a fail. I'm going to go ahead though, and let's try this one more time. I'm going to do graphic, but why don't we try something a little bit fun and go with psychedelic. And there was another cool one that I had seen here. We're going to go with bioluminescent as well. So let's see what this looks like when we add some bioluminescence to the crystal orb. I think that that could be pretty cool. Psychedelic, yes, this is really fun. Look at these colors. So that is pretty neat stuff. I like the orb up here in our group. This doesn't seem as much like they're inside an orb. It seems more like they're walking into a portal, which is great. Here again, this one to me, that first rendering of the orb was probably their best one. And this makes more sense as far as that gem that was on the pedestal from the first rendering. I didn't even quite know what was going on, but here I can tell better what it is. So I'm going to download this, and let's once again bring these folks here into the Firefly in the Photoshop. I'm going to, what am I going to do? Let's do this. Let's change it to 1920 by 1080, and I'm thinking that perhaps that will cut off some of my watermark in the process. Lovely. Got rid of that. And I want to fill from here all the way over, and I'm hoping that it is going to interpret that as a tree to fill in on this side. And I'm going to just hold down Shift and highlight my other area that I want to have generatively filled, and generative filled button, generate the fill. And let's zoom in a little bit on these folks. That's a really cool image, almost like a palette knife sort of style of the artwork overall. And I really like these bold lines now with the bioluminescent sort of colors. That is a very vibrant scene, and I love the symmetry of it too. Let's get it full screen here. Very nice image. See the other variations, number 2, number 3, number 1 to me is definitely a winner. There's sort of, it's too empty up here. How about if we take this area and this area and ask it to add more trees. I think that if it does take trees and stylize them in the same way, then it could really, instead of pulling your eye first from the center off to the sides, now it will just keep things centered. If the AI and I are on the same page. Well, sort of, kind of, yes, that will work for me, AI. I'm just actually going to ask for one more tree. Add a tree. Is there anything else that I want to add or remove here? I don't think so. I mean, this character in the back isn't well formed, but that's okay. I don't think I'd be able to ask AI to come up with something here that would be better than what is there now. So there you go, tree number 1, 2, or 3. Tree number 2, I think, matches. That is a nice little scene. So what did we end up with? We ended up with our hero here, who was the Blade of Destiny. A young warrior embarks on a perilous journey to claim the legendary sword. And here we had the princess from the Kingdom of Everlight. Let's just have another look at the beauty of the detail on this. Absolutely incredible. So we had our princess, and then finally we had the quest for the crystal orb, and we got our group of adventurers set off on their way. So I hope that you enjoyed this. If you did, then like and subscribe to encourage me to make more videos, and I will see you the next time.